Hi there, and welcome to the first part of my workshop build, designed to start working on this bench outside with a very loose vise. Also, the first step of a personal journey that you're welcome to join me on, and all that remains for me to say is, welcome to Dirt Cheap. Now, along this journey, we're going to restore an old Land Rover. It's not any old Land Rover, it's quite personal to me, although this is I passed my driving test. Now, it's not going to be a nut and bolt restoration, and nor is it going to be a Project Binky. It's going to have a little sprinkling or resto mod. But firstly, the workshop build. I'm fortunate enough to have the space in the back garden to build my own, and also two local builders, Alistair and Derek, who are very experienced and are going to help me out with the groundwork. So let's start with Alistair arriving in the mini digger to begin those groundworks. Starting here, reducing the bank so we could site the building where we needed it to go. As you can see, Alistair comes with all the kit, and here he is removing the top turf into his dumper. Here we are, all done for the day. Bank reduced back to where it needs to be, and we're left with a cleared out space at the end of day one. Actually, we didn't catch everything in video photos, and this is the foundation trench dug out. Went down to the chalk base, put the level pins in ready for the pour. Getting the ready mix in was a bit of a challenge. Here's Derek, our local builder, helping out guide the driver up the back lane, which was the only access to the site. Well, I did say it was a challenge, and it was certainly a tight squeeze, but we eventually got the mixer in and backed up to the foundations. And here we are, ready for the foundations to be poured in. Here they come, moment of anticipation. And there's Alistair, only seems to be the only one working at the minute, making sure there, of course, there are no air pockets. And there it is, levelled out and waiting to set. A few days later, the block work starts for the retaining wall around the pad on which we're going to sit the building. Might not have been apparent in those past pictures, but that's the slope we're building on. And here's the retaining wall up to the eventual floor level, with a pipe set in to give access to run surfaces, and a brick outer layer on the outside is going to go on the block work. Those bricks were delivered on the driveway, then to be hand loaded into my trusty L200, all restacked and bathing in the evening sun. I thought it was a workout, but there was more to come. And here it is, we had to backfill the base. This is recycled brick rubble classed as 40mm to dust, all 20 tonnes of it. Which got moved by shovel and wheelbarrow. Workout number 2. As you can see, 20 tonnes barely touched the sides. This is me moving a second load, another 20 tonnes, and compacting it down with a borrowed whacker plate from Derek, who has done all the block work. And that was a very long-winded and boring but necessary process. And as you might be able to see, there's the facing bricks been added on the outside now. I really wasn't sure how whacked down it had to be, so I took my time about it. Finally, all 40 tonnes were in, and we're up to a level base, blinding over with the sand next. After that, we laid out the damp-proof membrane over the sand, holding it in place with lots of bricks there, and then we laid out the reinforcing mesh in the floor, 8mm mesh on all the little towers to make sure it was halfway through the depth of the floor, so that's like 75mm under that mesh. This is us setting up for the floor pour. We had to floor pours in 2 parts, hence the divider and the plank dividing it off. And here we are, we get a ready mix lorry in, so there we are again. We can get another one in. This is the first pour coming in now. And it's pretty satisfying to be at this point. Well, after a lot of hard work, but we weren't actually really anywhere there yet. Let me tell you, this is hard work. And you can see that divider in place between the two halves of the pour. shoveling and raking continues. It seemed never ending. And we weren't even halfway through half a floor yet. And there's yet more. And eventually it was all in. And it could be levelled out. And there it is, waiting to be levelled. Same process for the other half. And after levelled out, we left it for a week before we could walk on it. And then the building arrived as a kit along with a crew that knew how to put it up. Here's the back wall going in. And then there's the roof joists. As you can see, it needs a roof adding, which was the next big step, and it was quite a learning curve for my wife and myself. And a few other things needed doing. I wanted to paint it out on the outside, which worked out rather well, I think. Then the roof battens arrived, and this is the first nail in holding on the first strip of membrane on the roof there. And then we added the full length batten runs first. There are regulations regarding the overlap, so we laid that out with that in mind. And then one side was complete with full battens. We repeated that on the other side, working up strip of membrane, then the full length battens, and finally we got to the ridge covered in batten and membrane, and then the ridge was done last because there's a regulation on the overlap of the ridge membrane. And then we measured up the remaining battens to fill in. Like it turned out, I cut them one in the right place, gave me the missing on each row with no wastage. And here you can see the end of each row being completed, and we're using up all the daylight when we were doing that because the nights were now drawn in. We were into October. Finally it was done and we were ready for the next bit. So this is us measuring out for the soffits and fascias, and this is me wearing my seeing goggles and my concentrating face. And this is how we managed to wrestle all the fascias into place. Bit of a tricky procedure to get it all square, but there it is, all done. Fascias and soffits all in, and more late finishes now. We were into November. In the meantime, the slate arrived in 5 crates and about 2,000 slates in total, and there they sat in the driveway. Needed to move them near a barn, but that's not a problem if you've got a friend with a John Deere telehandler. No more loading those into the truck. And then we start the long job of slating the roof. I've never done a roof before, and this is the picture result of an afternoon's checking and measuring. It felt like quite an achievement. Now let me tell you, that is satisfying when you see that. And on it goes, creeping across the roof, checking all the way. You do get some sunny days, and there we are, to prove I did actually do it myself. There's me working my way up, about halfway along the ridge at that point. Nearly there, which is about a week to Christmas, and we just had that corner to do. Closer and closer, edging my way up the side. It was getting tricky now with no scaffold, just that tower, and there it was, all done. That's the 23rd of December, day before Christmas Eve. One side fully done. You don't need to see all that again, but this on the other side, except I was cementing a reclaimed ridge tile along, and nearing the end it got a bit fiddly towards the end of the ridge as there's nowhere to stand, and there it is done. Not the best mortar work in the world, but it has proven to be watertight. We're finally done with the roof, almost a finished building, and as if to prove my roofing skills, it then snowed in March, and then we moved on to insulating on the inside, and that's as far as we've got at the moment. There's a lot more to do, most notably the internal fit out and the floor levelling, and I'll put up another episode to keep you right up to date. If you like what you've seen, give it a thumbs up below. Of course, if you've got any questions, then drop them in the comments, and if you want to keep well up to date, then please subscribe. That's everything we have for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.